Hello everybody, welcome to Vigilant Citizen. My name is Josh. I hope you all had a very wonderful Christmas, surrounded by people whose company you enjoy, and that you received wonderful gifts, very thoughtful, loving gifts, not so much about the materialism that they bring, but the joy that they bring, knowing that other people are caring about you and thinking about you. And I hope that the gifts that you gave those around you were well met and received well. We had a lot of people in this house. It was amazing. It was good. Got a lot of great gifts from people I love, including this awesome T-shirt of my favorite movie from my wonderful, lovely wife. And so naturally, I've coupled it with my mug that I got from Universal Studios out in Orlando, Florida. You can probably see it there. Yeah, that's how you know it's real, because it has that TM symbol there, trademark. Before we get into today's topic, I had something I wanted to share with you about my previous topic, which was you will die, kind of going into the fact that if you try to avoid death, you're not going to live your life. It's not the same thing. And at one point I mentioned that you can't really escape it, not in that final destination sort of sense where death is stalking you. This kind of gives that impression, but I thought it came at the right time just to help embellish my point. So this book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor who passed away in 1997, and he's talking about his experiences in the death camps, in the concentration camps. But here, I just want to read a quick passage from here. Does this not bring to mind the story of death in Tehran? A rich and mighty Persian once walked in his garden with one of his servants. The servant cried that he had just encountered death, who had threatened him. He begged his master to give him his fastest horse so that he could make haste and flee to Tehran, which he could reach that same evening. The master consented, and the servant galloped off on the horse. On returning to his house, the master himself met Death and questioned him. "Why did you terrify and threaten my servant?" "I did not threaten him. I only showed surprise in still finding him here when I planned to meet him tonight in Tehran," Death said. So I thought that was interesting. An interesting little parable that, like I said, kind of embellishes or puts an additional point to what I was trying to make last time. So something to think about, but I won't harp on that topic. That was last week's topic. I'm not going to talk about that for too much more. And I apologize in advance. Here comes my kitten, and he's a little terror. He's a really good cat. He's actually a really good cat. He doesn't bite hard. He doesn't scratch hard. I think he needs a nail trim. But if you hear any purring or meowing or anything getting knocked around, it's you little terror. You'll come here, or you could just walk away. That's fine. Typical cat. Anyway, so today what I want to talk about is being the most powerful person in the room, being the most, in some case, the strongest, the most dangerous person in the room. And this doesn't necessarily mean physical, but probably 75% it means that. And the reason I think that it's important for you to learn how to fight and to be the strongest person in the room is so that you can avoid fights. Because if you know how to fight, whether it's a physical fight or a verbal dispute, some language jujitsu so that you get on top in an office political environment or whatever, having the confidence to do that, to beat other people around you, gives you the freedom to avoid fights. Because if you don't know how to fight and you are starting to get cornered, or you're finding yourself in a situation that you don't know how to get out of or how to win, excuse me, you are more likely to engage in violence or to engage in backstabbing politics, I suppose. And if you know how to fight, you know how to de-escalate it. You know what you're in for if you're going to get into a fight, and you probably don't want to do it. You don't want to get involved. So you're going to work a little bit harder, or even understand a little bit more how to de-escalate or defuse a situation. And you're also going to have the freedom and the power to do so, because you're the person at the top of the pecking order, right? So people are naturally going to look to you to see what your actions are and how you're behaving and how you're trying to move forward through what may be a dangerous situation. So I do think it's important to know how to fight physically, because if you're not at your job, right, where you're expected to work nicely with each other to some extent, I imagine, or I hope, you may find yourself in situations out in public in which somebody's threatening you or acting poorly in public. Maybe they're drunk and they just came out of a bar and you're walking down the street and they try to accost you and say, hey buddy, you want to go, just because they're gearing for a fight for somebody. And you know how to fight, so you're just like, well, whatever. I mean, we could, and I'll win, and I'll embarrass you in front of all your friends and family. Is that really what you want? So how about we just de-escalate this, and my pride isn't hurt because I don't need to prove myself. I don't need to show that I can beat you up or something like that. So it's important to be up at the top of the pecking order. I've heard this, like I said, I've heard this concept called being the most dangerous man in the room. I've also called it, I'm struggling with English today, so if I'm doing any language jujitsu, I'm the one getting armbarred. But I've also heard it called peace through strength. And so ensuring that you're the strongest person or entity, because it could refer to national politics or even other things, ensuring that you are the strongest one there so that you can in some sense impose your values and principles and not allow others to steamroll over you. You can establish those boundaries and be like, hey, we're strong enough to enforce our boundaries. We're strong enough to be able to say, these are our convictions, our morals, our values, or my values, and I will not allow you to go any farther or any further, because it may not be distance. Geographically, it may be farther, but when it comes to somebody trying to take advantage of you at work or something, it might be further. Hey, English. So, pretty simple concept. Learn how to fight. Make sure you know how to fight, because paradoxically, it will help you stay out of fights. Today's culture is very, very wary of strong men. But as Jordan Peterson has said, if you're worried about strong men, just wait until you see what weak men are capable of. Because they're more likely to be backstabbing, dirty, and passive-aggressive, and to strike because they think that they're going to die, that they're going to lose. So they think that the appropriate thing is to lash out or to engage in violence. They're more likely to cause physical violence or social violence. So don't be one of those. Get strong. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, learn how to fight, both mentally and physically, and it will help you avoid fights in the future. You'll just have that confidence. You won't have to prove yourself, and you'll just be able to move through some of these sticky situations a little bit easier. Well, I think I'll leave it at that. I'm running out of things to say because I've said it twice now, I think. It's usually a sign that my idea I've taken my idea to the end of its thread. So thanks for listening. Again, hope you had a Merry Christmas. I think, is it Friday is New Year's Eve? So have a very happy New Year as well, because you won't see me until the New Year. This is closing out 2021. It's been a great year. Thank you all so much for just joining me on this. I'm trying to figure things out, just trying to find the best way to bring out my ideas. I'd like to get some more guests on here as well. Just got to work around people's schedules. Got to work around my schedule because I force myself to be so busy all the time, trying out new things and doing lots of different things. So it really is my fault that I haven't had anybody else other than my brother on. So maybe in the next year we'll look at getting some more of that in there. And if you have ideas for this channel or anything else that you want to see, I know one of my highest watched videos, at least on YouTube, this is interesting. On YouTube, the highest watched video is the one with my older brother as we're smoking pipes, but it's because people were looking up, how do you smoke a pipe slowly? Which is interesting. So I'm not saying that I'm here for the views or the subscriber count or anything. That's not what I'm here for. I've said that before. But it is good to get my message out, I suppose, and the more people I get the message out to, I think the better off that they are, because I like to think I have a good message. So that's giving me something to think about. Maybe I should do some more how-to videos, but I don't know how to do much of anything that I could do in my own home and show you, right? I'm not necessarily an expert at some of the stuff that I do, like playing guitar or doing jujitsu, things like that. But it's given me something to think about. Are there things that I could show? I definitely want to. You see all these games back here? So with my alternate channel, I definitely want to start getting some of these games up and running. I got a great gift of a new video camera for Christmas with a mount, so maybe I can mount it in the ceiling and show you the board game as we're playing, things like that. So I've got some ideas for that channel, but this channel, I'm open to new ideas. Maybe I'll try showing some things that I know how to do. I just have to think about what that looks like. The other interesting thing is over on Rumble. If you're watching this on Rumble, thank you very much, by the way. I think that is going to be probably the future of this, because it seems to be converging with a lot of other free speech platforms, and there's a million of those out there that are not YouTube, and they're just kind of all vying for that space, and eventually something's going to come out on top. Something's going to rise to the top. Right now it's looking like it might be Rumble, so I'm going to stick with it for now. And the most watched view on Rumble is with 10 times the number of views of my highest watched on YouTube is the video entitled "Don't Listen to Children." So I have to think about that. Why did that one get so many views? I think that's interesting. Is it because the title was a little bit inflammatory? Maybe. I don't know. Don't listen to children. I like that. I like that it's the top, my highest watched video ever, out of every video I've made. So, well, here's looking to the new year. And maybe I'll come up with some ideas for this channel to move forward and get some more guests on it and show how to do some other things, or bring guests on to show me how to do some things, because I think that's kind of the allure for me too, is continue learning. So thank you all for a great year. Let's hope that 2022 is filled with less craziness, and that people start to think things through instead of reacting, and we may the tyrants in our society fall this next year. We'll see how that goes. There will always be tyrants. But let's hope that they get their comeuppance so that we can live a little more freely in the next year and not have to deal with some of their herky-jerky reactions in the name of health and science, when it's all just for power. May they fail. And may those of us who are trying to live our lives gracefully and with any spark of humility, may we rise to the top. We'll see how that goes too. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you next year.